28th. We have a day that started out at 50-55 degrees. Hasn't warmed up a lot. We have a pretty fair wind here. Running maybe 10 to 15, which just adds to the chill. It's overcast. We get patches of sun here and there, and yet still the river is quite lovely, quite beautiful. So we went through a couple of rapids, and I did a bad job. I grounded out 3 times, and probably don't want to look at the bottom of my boat till I get home. I actually went through one of the rapids backwards after getting hung up, swung around, and then broke loose and went through backwards. It was interesting, but it's a nice day for paddling, and we're not going to overheat, that's for sure. And this section of the river is really very pretty, very pretty. Although I've got to say that the Withlakoochee yesterday was spectacular, quite spectacular, but much narrower, and just really neat. Well, I'm about 2/3 of the way to the Dowling River Camp. About 11 miles or so paddled, and another 4 or 5, about 4 to go. The day has turned overcast. Wind has dropped a little, but it's a little chilly, and it's threatening rain. The river has changed a bit. It's a little wider. There's the limestone cliffs are much lower, and the vegetation has changed. Lots of saw palmetto, some cabbage palm. We've got lots of live oak, and fewer and fewer of the bald cypress. As we go farther south, we'll get fewer of the bald cypress and more of the other things until we get down to brackish water, which we won't hit on this trip. But as you get down toward the town of Suwannee and the water becomes brackish, you start to see mangroves, and so you get into the mangrove areas down there. And also you'll see more. I've seen a lot of cypress down there, but I don't see as many here along the stretch of the river. So it won't be too long before I get to our camping spot for tonight, and be good to set up the tent, hopefully ahead of the rain. Here's a little look at the river. It's wild. You'll see little signs of civilization, but not a whole lot. You can see the limestone cliffs here. They're much lower, but the riverbanks are still high, probably 15 to 20 feet high, because that's where high water goes and carves this whole area out. That's the way it looks today. Not very sunny, but still a lovely paddle. Not too much work with given the wind and the current. It's an easy paddle, and I'm making probably 4 miles an hour, and I'm not pushing it along. Well, this is the 3rd day on the river, the Suwannee. It was cold last night. Temp dropped to somewhere in the 40s, and well, it was plenty warm in the tent. Just a little chilly this morning and last night, especially getting into paddling clothes. But one of the things that occurs to me is that when I'm paddling from home, if it's cold, I don't go. If it's too hot, I don't go. If the wind is too high, I don't go. If I'm tired and don't feel like loading the boats, I don't go. But on a trip like this, you have to get up in the morning, you have to pack your gear up, load your boat, and get on the water, regardless of the situation. And I kind of like that because otherwise I probably would stay home. Here's the river as we leave Dowling Park. The spray deck really helps to keep me warm inside the boat. Outside the boat, I have on probably 5 or 6 layers. I have a t-shirt. I have a long sleeve shirt with a zip-up neck. I have a light Polartec sweater, and I have my paddling jacket. So there's 4 layers, and then on top of that, I have the tunnel for the spray deck, and I have my PFD. So my biggest concern is that I don't get overheated, actually, but that's fine today because the wind is blowing strong enough that it keeps us cooled off, and I'm quite comfortable, even though the temperature is barely 50 degrees at this point. Well, it's Tuesday, and we're at Peacock Slough River Camp, which is our lunch stop. It's one of the more lovely spots on the whole trip. It's cold. It's barely 50 degrees. The sun is shining, but we've got a 20-mile-an-hour wind, and so it's chilly. But it's beautiful, and it's a great paddle. And I'll give you a quick look at the view here from the launch spot here at Peacock Slough. Take a look.